Here on the YAWGPod, we aim to answer life's biggest questions. Do aliens exist? Is the government controlling us through mirrors? Are gas station TVs the worst invention in human history? If you're looking for well thought out, informed, or even coherent answers to these questions, then you're in the wrong place and you're asking the wrong guys. Welcome to the first ever episode of the YAWG podcast. To our longtime listeners, welcome back. If you're new here and want to listen to our first podcast and see how we started, it's called Tales of the Table. It'll be on the same feed as this one. Just scroll back a little bit. Yeah. It'll also be on the same YouTube channel. We're just renaming everything because we're lazy.
Why does it make us lazy if we were lazy?
No, that's the better way to do it.
Yeah, because we keep all our listeners. We don't got to re-follow people. We re-get listeners.
Yeah, you're asking
You're asking too much. You're asking the wrong guys to do that for you. So here on the podcast, we're going to answer some questions, but we're not going to answer them correctly. So you're asking the wrong guys. But first, make sure you follow us on social media. It's not at TLTI anymore. It's at YAWGPod, YAWGPod, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, you name it, we're on there probably. Without further ado, we'll get into our first topic.
What are you talking?
So, as we mentioned in our intro, we're here to answer some pretty big questions. And the first on the list, do aliens exist and is there a God? We're not actually going to answer those questions. But recently, the NASA launched this big telescope, and they hired 24 theologians to consult on how the world would react if they found aliens or life in the universe with this new big telescope. So my question to you all, and I'll answer it too, is does this mean, to me there are three options. One, they think they might find aliens. That's what they're proposing. Two, they already found aliens, and this is their what do we do now? What do we do now? We found aliens. And three,
they're trying to cover their tracks.
They know there's nothing out there, and they're just trying to get money for this telescope to launch into space. But instead of making it see things, they're just computer generating cool images like this is space, but they're actually lining their pockets.
Okay, let's go ahead and give credit to Matthew hitting us with this good one. First episode. Let's go ahead and go.
Is that your belief on it, though? Or were you just saying options?
Those are I gave you
these
three different answers.
Did you just make
I make those up
Did you
just
make these
now.
up? No way. No way.
I think is there aliens already or are there not isn't, but I think I just made up they know there's not and they're pocketing the money and they just sent out a fake telescope.
So you made that up, fresh right off the temple,
Off
right
the
now,
dome,
not even
just now.
pre-written down.
I didn't write it down. You can go look at the document if you'll click on the right one.
Show me the notepad in
erased
front of
some
you.
stuff.
Show me the notepad in front of you right now.
It's Google Docs. I'm not writing things down.
Yeah, but what is it, the 80s?
Okay, Matthew does that notepad thing. You already know he does.
Actually, I have
You've
a
seen his
notepad.
little notepad. All right. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I can take the ball here. I can take the ball here.
Write that down.
The first thing, I don't think 3 is really a quality. I mean, I get why you threw it in there, but I don't think 3 is a good option because it doesn't really make sense that they'd be spending all this money for nothing.
They didn't spend it.
But
Number 3 was they
The
raised
government
money
do that all
for the
time.
telescope. And they pocketed it and sent a fake telescope, and they're just having these dumb images that they made up and saying, "Ooh, this is outer
Okay,
space."
so Matthew, that was so much more pretty and conspiracistical. Is that a word?
It is now.
than the first time.
I'll clean it up even more because I agree with Matthew. I think they probably know that, but that's not how they pitched it. They knew in the back of their heads, they're like, well, aliens is really in the news right now. The Pentagon's already out here saying these UFOs
There's this new
exist.
podcast called the
We know that
YAWGPod. That covers an
we
alien.
could pitch this easily. Yep.
Okay.
We could pitch this easy, get a bunch of money. There's already some public outcry about aliens.
Okay, between the first two, because I get the third now that Matthew explained it better, but I don't know. What I'm finding more to, what I hope is happening is that it's probably 2. Like, what 2 was like where they think they'll find them right, and 1 was where you think they already exist.
You don't have
Or
to
was that
name.
ba-
I didn't
either
number
backwards?
them. It's either aliens exist already.
You numbered them.
I was just saying this: aliens exist already, and they're doing this to say, "Ooh, there might be aliens." Or 2, they don't know. They're doing this just in case. And so there we go. Just one of those 2.
Okay, I would like for it to be 2, but my honest opinion is I think that it's probably 1. I think we've already talked enough on the old Tales of the Table. Is that I think it seems like a good way to cover your tracks. Like, oh, we're doing all this effort. We're getting a brand new telescope, and we're hiring all these theologians. Like, they're going to come talk to us. They're going to let us know all this stuff. They probably already know, and they're just wanting to talk to theologians like, hey, man, what's the deal? Like, we've had these aliens hidden in the barn here for about 30 years, and we want to know what the deal is here. What's the deal? Like, how bad will it be? How bad? And then the theologians are going to say, a pretty bad.
So what you think happens is that NASA's hiding aliens in a barn for 40 years.
Theoretical barn, massive billion-dollar facility. They're the same
Thought
thing.
experiment. You got any answers, Bowen?
Oh no.
You don't got an answer?
No, I do, but I have been talking, and I don't think you all can hear me.
Now we can.
And I don't know how long it could go back. But
how about you stop messing with your mic while you're recording?
This isn't the first time. I don't even think I moved anything. I think this thing's just loose. The little cord at the bottom. No, we've all seen that Vsauce video where he talks about that tablet we sent out to space with a bunch of like alien, like this is how they can decode it. They were like, well, we don't know if they had there was like an equation on it, like of the laws of the universe. They were trying to communicate with aliens. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a tablet. They shot it out to outer space.
Yeah, I don't really.
This sounds like the Mormon religion.
No, but they've been looking for aliens though. There was another president who spent a bunch of money.
I know they sent out like a gold disc, like, and it has like I think they sent out a time capsule too.
Elon Musk probably already knows them. He's probably best friends with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
probably. Did you see there's supposed to be a hotel in outer space by 2030?
that'd be dope.
Space hotel.
I want to be like Michael Strahan, just go
just
up
in the middle of space, or are we talking about? We talking Mars? What are we talking?
No, we're just talking like
low
over
orbit,
in the
probably.
Earth, like low orbit. Yeah.
Low orbit. Okay.
If you go out into space, you couldn't get back. That'd be so expensive.
I mean, you can get back. We just gotta drive a bunch of Teslas or something on the Rainbow Road out there.
That's Mario Kart. My answer,
Rainbow Road.
I was going to go with aliens don't exist, and they just did this as a, just in case. But I think I convinced myself when I thought of it that it's a fake telescope. They're just generating some art. They hired an artist, way cheaper than hiring a telescope, to go out into space, and they're just drawing these.
You hire a telescope. You hire an inanimate object, Matthew.
And they just have someone drawing these space drawings, and they're like, "Ooh, this is this corner of the universe. Ooh, this is this." And instead, they just took the billions of dollars and said, "I'm going to buy a Tesla and go to the space hotel."
I like that idea. I mean, that would be quality. I think we would all find that humorous if that was what happened. I don't know, but so this telescope's supposed to be like better than Hubble?
Like thousands of times better than Hubble.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I thought Hubble was supposed to be be able to see so far away, other galaxies, all this kind of crazy stuff.
This can do way better.
If we can already see to other galaxies and we haven't seen life yet, either like you said, some kindergartners out here drawing these images up, okay, and that we haven't even looked past. Mars is probably fake at this point, okay. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if we've had a telescope that can see into other galaxies. How would we have not already found something?
The amount of galaxies we've looked at compared to how many galaxies there are is astronomical.
Now you're playing the process of elimination. Like you're just saying like, oh well, we've seen a few, but there's a lot more.
So you're saying,
well,
on this beach?
Are we just going to run the numbers?
I've checked 3 grains of sand on this beach. There's nothing different. They're all the same.
But so how many grains of sand are you going to have to check until you can prove that you think that there might not be life out there besides us?
That's why
like
they
how many grains?
Telescope.
All of them. So
that's why they did build a telescope.
Your science is that you have to test every single one. Well, if that's the case, I don't even know. It'd take till the year 5,000, maybe 6,000.
What if some faraway civilization had their big telescope and they looked at every single planet in our galaxy and then they just stopped right before they got to ours? They would conclude that there's no life in the universe, but if they would have just came to our planet, they would be like, "Oh, there's that weird guy."
Matthew,
right there.
I want you to go ahead and imagine with me that we're just creating a giant swimming pool of conspiracy theories, and then you just went ahead and went to the high dive. You didn't go on the child's end. You went to the high dive, and you just cannonballed right into it. Because I could go there right now. What if we're just in a giant dome, and all of it's just imaginary? We look out at NASA, and there's just people pointing fingers. Like, Like all of us are just like this.
It
or
is.
what was that one thing?
We'll have to get into
that robot I was supposed to fight.
We'll-
What if I did that
We'll
again?
have to get into that at some point. But simulation theory, there's lots of like real life stuff that points at that we're in a simulation. But something else I want to point out that's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys thought of it like this.
I think Elon Musk believes in it or talked about it one time too.
So
Boone's talking about space is fake. Hashtag space is fake.
yeah,
That's what Boone's talking
if you listen to this
I mean,
podcast,
I didn't start
tweet
that.
out
about. No, it's already a
Boone
thing.
has a square head, and we'll know what you're talking about.
I mean, I know people don't believe the moon, like we've been to the moon before, but
No, I mean it's all kind of part of the same like flat Earth group, I think.
Okay. So what I was going to say is when we're looking out, something that's cool and something that I thought of just now, when we're looking out into these universes and they're thousands of light years away, that means that what we're seeing in this moment, if it's 1,000 light years away, happened 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So what if there was life on this planet 1,000 years ago and then pow, sun blew up on it and now it's just ash and we're like, oh, there's nothing there, but there was life. And what if whatever blew it up is on its way to us? And we can't see it.
but you're playing the game of what if. You
That's
can play
everything.
that game all
You're playing the game
day
of what if
long.
every time you wake up in the morning.
See, this is a problem while we're a conspiracy theory show because then we start digging. We start
What you're
digging
saying
deep.
is if an alien or some aliens out there were like trying to scan the universe for life, and they scanned, let's say they looked at Earth, but they're, I don't know, 2,000 light years away, 3,000, 4,000, whatever. They wouldn't see, however many years ago it was. They would be like, oh, there's no life on that Earth, like on that planet, because they're still seeing that many light years away in history.
I was saying the opposite.
past.
What if we were doing that? But that also works that way. If they saw Earth before life was formed on it, and they stopped looking because they had concluded that there was no life, and that's why we can't stop Boone. That's why space is the final frontier. We can't just. Did Lewis and Clark just say, "Oh, let's not go down this trail. This trail's the same," and then they just ran into Canada, and they're like, "Oh, there's no ocean over here." No.
So
They kept going.
I smell you, Matthew, but I'm going to go ahead and correct you. If Lewis and Clark are pioneering the ways, trailblazing, that means that there wasn't a trail. They started the trail. So they can't just pick trails. They're the one that started the trail in the
people
first
lived
place.
out west. What are you, a colonizer? There's nobody here in America before we got here?
But not the main trails. We're talking about the big boys.
Okay, so they saw this field and they saw this forest and they say, oh, there's nothing over there because we're walking this way. That doesn't make any sense, logically flawed. And with that, I win, and we're going to move on to, you're asking the wrong guy, segment 2, the chairs versus socks debate. So here's how.
I don't like Matthew just getting to declare.
This is
something.
how it
Yeah,
works.
I'm not
That's
really
how it
buying
works
into
on a new
that. It's
podcast.
garbage.
If you guys
It's
issues,
garbage.
you can find the right episode before we start and read about it. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to have debates, and before we start debating, we're going to have
And Matthew's just going to say he wins.
we're going to
Is that
have
what's gonna
have parameters for the debate. We're going to agree on the parameters so that we don't get
Oh, here's
halfway
this
through
word
the
again.
argument and Boone tries to move the goalpost. Boone moves the goalpost. And we're going to agree on them, and we're going to set the rules.
That's because the goalpost is imaginary, Matthew. I own the goalpost.
Okay, so the question is that you're asking to us, the wrong guys, are there more chairs in the world or are there more socks in the world? So the first parameter we need to agree on is, are we counting pairs of socks or individual socks? Because if it's individual socks, that's twice as many as pairs of socks. I think we should start pairs of socks because rarely do you use one sock and not two.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Second, are we counting socks currently in use and owned by people, or every sock? So socks.
How many pairs of socks in use? Is that what
Bowen,
you're saying?
plug in your mic now or I'm fighting you.
I did.
Stop messing with it.
Didn't touch it.
Every time you go, you go like this.
No, because I talk and then I go, you all didn't react. And I was like, that's weird. And then I'm like, oh, the little green thing didn't light up. Oh, it's not working. So that's when you see me going to
Okay.
touch
So the next parameter,
it. So did we decide that we're going to do
We're
pairs
doing-
of
yeah,
socks?
pairs
How
of
many
socks.
pairs of
Pair of
socks
socks
is the
makes
parameter.
sense.
So then the next question,
Not individual.
not individual socks. So the next question is, are we doing pairs of socks that people own, or pairs of socks in general? Like all the socks at a warehouse, do those count or do those not count?
It's in the world. You said in the world.
Okay, well, that's different.
No,
he's
you
talking
said
about in
in the
use.
world. No.
He's asking if they have to be
in
use.
use? Are we? No, we can't do
Okay,
that. In
okay,
the
that's
world.
the parameter. If that's what you're going to stick to. Okay, so I think if that counts, then we should also count anything that you sit on that is designed for you to sit on is a seat, is a chair.
Oh my goodness! What do we? A car? Car's got 5 of
Yes,
them.
exactly. Those are chairs.
Oh my gosh!
If you're going to count
there's
billions,
there's tailgates nowadays that's got 2 more.
if you're going to count socks in a warehouse, then I'm going to count chairs in a car.
So snap! I see what's going down.
No, this is the debate.
I see what's going down. This is one of those pre-one, as you like to say,
it's a
arguments.
hard question.
Team chair. Hashtag team chair. Hashtag team
Well,
chair.
you're the one that started letting him decide the
No,
parameters. I don't know why you
I
agree with
said
him in the
I didn't
first
think we
place.
should use. I thought we should have used socks and use. Socks is like way higher. Like you gotta dig deep to find how many chairs there are. There's way more socks already.
When Matthew said this debate, I'm over here loading up. I'm like, let this kid say chairs. Let him say chairs. And now he's over here. Anything that exists in our imagination is a chair.
So before we start, I'm going to give my argument because I've thought this out and written down notes, and then you guys can argue with me.
So let me ask this: stadium.
Yes,
Are the bleachers one bleacher, or is it 30,000 chairs?
So how many stadiums? How many people fit in a stadium? That's how many chairs there are.
Oh my God!
So just let me go through my logic. Stop
a
interrupting
piece
me.
of metal laid sideways is a chair.
Let
now.
me go through my argument, and then you can debate me. Okay, I'll start with socks. My argument for socks. Billions of people wear socks, okay? There is portions of the earth, of the world, like in cultures that don't wear socks. One, because it's hot, they don't need socks. Or two, it might just not be in their culture. But there's still 8 billion people in the world. And so let's just say 6 billion people wear socks. That's 6 billion socks already, just for one pair of socks per person. And Boone, how many pairs of socks do you own?
I bet it's closer to 5.
Okay, we'll do 5 billion.
200 and something.
So I just did like an average.
Because the area you're talking about that doesn't wear socks, there's a lot of people.
So what I'm saying, like
Over
if
there.
some people own lots of socks, like Boone owns hundreds of pairs of socks. I only own like 15 pairs of socks. So I would say the average person is closer to me than to Boone, but we can put it at 25 pairs of socks per person because you got athletic socks, you got dress socks, you got wool socks for the cold regions, you got work socks. I don't know. There's different styles you got to own. You got to have no-shows for some shoes. So 25, I think that's fair. Pairs of socks per person times 5 billion. That's 75 billion socks. Okay? That's a pretty hard number to beat. But let's go to chairs.
Well, technically, there's shoes that are socks built into them. Does that count?
Nope.
What about pantyhose? Do those count?
No.
They go around your toes.
Anything that goes around. You got a toe ring on?
Well, anything you sit on's a chair now, Matthew, so I'm just opening up my brain a little bit.
A fighting chance in this argument.
I don't want them to have a fighting chance. I think this argument was dumb, like the dress that's gold and white when it's in fact blue and black. Okay?
Well,
Wait.
Also, 75 billion wouldn't be the
I'm
final
stupid.
answer, though, because
That's
you're
not even 5 times
calculating all of
25.
ones.
That's 125 billion. What am I, dumb?
125 billion pairs of socks. Okay, but what about the socks in like the warehouses and stuff that we talked
Just
about?
throw on a couple more billion.
You could probably actually figure out the
I
math.
tried.
You just
That's what
gotta
I said.
figure out how many
So,
pairs of
I
socks.
tried to
is
do the
like
math. I couldn't find any
leading
consistent.
brand.
I couldn't find any consistent data. Like even the amount of average pair of socks owned like varied widely. The amount of people that wear socks in the world varied widely, and so did the amount of chairs. So then here's my logic for chairs, and then I'll get into what I want us to do individually. So couches. That's 3, 5, 6, depending on how big your couch is. Chairs, work chairs, office chairs, dining room chairs, bar chairs, restaurants, stadiums, offices, and so forth. So what? But again, 125 billion socks versus.
Boone really wants to say something.
So what I want us to do is go through an exercise of how many socks we own versus how many chairs we see in a day. So I'll go first just to walk you guys through it, and then you guys can go. So a bed doesn't count. The bed's not designed to sit on. A bed is designed to lay on. So I get up from my bed. I walk into my office. Boom, 1 chair. So say I'm getting tired of my office. I go downstairs for lunch. In my living room, I have a kitchen table with 4 chairs. Up to 5 now. I have a sectional that seats 6 people. That's 11 chairs. I have a gaming chair at my desk, 12. I have a car out front, 17. I have another car, 23. I have a weightlifting bench, 24. I have 2 lounge chairs, 27. I have 2 lawn chairs, 29. I have 20 or 15 pairs of socks. So if the world was comprised of me, and say it's a UK game day, I go to the UK game, I sit in a chair.
I disagree with your bench.
Okay,
one.
but
Your
okay, so
bench.
say that I go to the UK game, I sit in a
It
chair.
has to be
I
purposely
think I've
made
disagreed
for
the moment
main
he started talking.
objective
The moment
of
he
the
started
seat.
talking, I was
It
just
can only be
in
there to
disagreement.
serve to sit down. That can be the only thing it does. So your bench, I don't
Okay,
think
then-
counts.
okay.
But a chair is something that's only.
You got one chair out of
yeah.
me. So say I want to go
people sit.
to a
But I'm
Ronda's.
saying-
Ooh, I sit in a chair there.
Cars.
Say I go to the UK game, I sit in a chair there. Say the Steelers make the Super Bowl, we go to that stadium, sit in a chair there, and there's 50,000 other chairs there. Now the opposite of the argument is everyone sitting in a chair there has socks on, and they have more socks at home. Are there more socks at home than they have chairs? So I'll let you guys go through that little exercise, and we'll finish this debate.
Boom, you go.
I don't think you want me to go first, buddy.
No, I don't really have it that hard way. I want to hear your side because I knew Matthew was going to take chairs. I knew you were going to take socks.
I didn't take chairs.
I don't have a
I was
hard
just giving
opinion.
chairs a chance because I know that you guys weren't even going to consider chairs.
Okay.
No, I like chairs.
I
But where
would-
do you stop?
I would
a
like to
bench?
thank
How
you,
do
Matthew.
decide?
I would like to thank you for wasting about 5 minutes of my life for the long and sweet. There's a giant difference between a chair and a seat.
No, okay. We should
A
seats
seat
versus
is
chairs.
different.
Seats versus socks. That even sounds better.
Seat. There's a lot less seats. A car seat.
That's for children.
Chair is
A
different.
seat,
Okay.
seat and
But
chair
no,
are the
if you're
same
changing
thing.
out you don't say I'm changing out the chairs in my car. You say I'm changing out the seats in my car. You don't. They're not called chairs. A chair is its one goal. Office chair.
You're
Okay?
wrong.
They don't call
Chair
They don't call
is the
benches.
material
That's
used
a
to
seat.
make a piece of
If you're-
furniture used for sitting, while seat refers to the position on this chair where a person sits.
That's sit, Matthew. That's
No,
sit.
seat. I'm looking at it.
All I know, Matthew, is
Have a seat.
Yes.
is that if your logic, a seat, a chair, a sit. I mean, I might as well go sit right here on my TV. That's a good old time. I call that my
It's not
chair.
designed to
I like
sit on,
sitting
though.
TVs.
A bench is designed for you to
It's
sit on.
designed. It's flat. It's
It's
flat.
not designed for you to sit on, though.
It's Matthew. You're saying everything, but not everything can be a sock. Okay. Let me see. Let me look around here. Oh, here's a T-shirt. Let me wrap that around my foot real quick. That's
It's
a
not
sock now.
designed to go on your foot. It's a sock.
Matthew. But that a chair is designed for you to sit in, but
Yes.
a bench is for you to. They're
sit
not
in.
the same.
The bench is designed for you
No,
to
they're
sit
not.
in.
You don't sit in a bench. You don't sit in a bench.
What do you do?
You sit
Oh
on
my
it.
gosh! It's
Sit
designed
on.
for you to sit on.
Matthew.
You sit on a
logic is
chair.
like-
You're not inside the chair.
I give
that
you-
would
I'm
defy the
listening.
laws of
I'm gonna
physics.
calm
You
down.
can't
I'm
go
gonna calm
into
down.
a chair.
I respect you, Matthew, for going the dumb route. I respect it. I respect you giving it a chance. I mean, the Colts gave Carson Wentz a chance. Okay, what I'm telling you to do is
They did.
just listen to me for a second. It just doesn't add up. I'm telling you, the listeners out here, they usually don't agree with me, but they're out here thinking, this kid Matthew, right now, this kid Matthew, using all his big words, his big terminology, his big boy words, and the boy can't even look in a car and call it a seat. He's going to call it a chair. He's going to look at the car. He's going to be like, hey, wife, would you like to get out of the chair in the car real quick? Get out of the chair real
I
quick.
established in the beginning that a chair is something designed for you to sit in.
When I get in my car, I actually buckle my chair buckle. I buckle my chair buckle.
So
I don't-
you
I don't
go
buckle
to a
my seat buckle, I
restaurant
buckle my
and
chair buckle.
you have a baby and you're like, oh, they need something to sit in that's higher up. What do you call that? A high seat?
All I'm saying is I'll get behind the train. I'll hop on that dumb train with you, and we'll ride it all the way to Germany, okay? But what I'm telling you
can't take a
is
train
that
to
if
Germany.
you want to tell me that a seat is a chair, that's fine. But what I'm telling you
Airplanes?
is everything should be a sock. Everything should be a sock.
No, my definition of chair was something designed for you to sit on. A definition of a sock is a piece of clothing designed to go underfoot in between your skin and a shoe.
I'm pretty sure a chair is meant for an individual person to sit on.
Correct.
A bench at a stadium is meant to sit rows of 30.
That's 30 seats.
50 people.
30 chairs. That was
No,
in
you're
the
calling it chair.
established rules.
Matthew,
That's why I said
you
we established
established
parameters.
the rules
I
first.
said, are we counting a single seat? So a couch would be 3 chairs, etc. You said yes.
I'm never going to say, "Hey, come sit on my triple wide chair."
You could, and it would, that would be an accurate statement. Just because you
Hey, Boone, I think I've
because
got.
you don't say it doesn't mean it's not accurate. You don't say.
I've only seen there's stores that exist that only sell socks, but I've never seen a store that only sells chairs. It's like furniture. It's never just chairs. But I have seen stores in the mall and stuff that only sell socks. So I do.
You also have to take into account socks are way cheaper to make. They're way smaller, so you can store a lot more of them. I wouldn't say I was on team chairs. I was saying I was given an argument. The only way it had a chance is if, one, we counted socks as pairs of socks.
No, you are right.
The only 3 things that would make it have a chance is it was pairs of socks. 2, we only counted socks in use and not socks on store shelves or in warehouses and stuff like that. And 3, everything that was designed for you to sit in counts as everything designed for one person to sit in counts as 1 chair. So that a couch counts as 3 chairs, so forth, so on and so forth.
Okay, you got me.
But
You
socks,
got me.
socks
all
still
I know-
wins that. But that's all I was saying.
All I know is our first episode here at YAWG, okay, everybody who's listening on their car ride to work, home from work, they are going to be truly thankful because at the moment they walk into work, someone's going to ask them, "Hey, man," or hey, girl, did you enjoy that podcast? I'm like, honestly, my brain turned off. I mean, it just turned off. Instantly, as soon as they started talking about chairs and socks and seats and triple wide couches, it just turned right off. And I really was able to decompress. And I think we're helping people out here. I think we're really helping people out here. If we can just really continue talking about seats and chairs and Matthew supporting Team Chair.
I'll
we can
take the fall. I'll be team chair. So what you're saying, Boone, is that instead of providing an audience value, we provide nothing. We provide we numb their pain instead of.
It's almost like white noise. Yes. Like I bet people are going to start going to bed to
Yes.
us. We're going to get a white noise maker, a YAWG maker. A YAWG maker. People put next to their bed.
There's compilations like Bill Burr. Somebody made a YouTube compilation. It's like this is 10 hours of Bill Burr ranting to fall asleep. That's the title of it.
That's our future podcast right there. That's what we're doing.
So for future episodes,
we're helping people go to sleep.
That is the purpose of why we established parameters, because half of Boone's argument was against a parameter we had established in the beginning.
You said Boone moves goalposts. Okay.
There we go.
Bowen, did Matthew not move his goalpost at the very beginning to so far that you can't even reach it?
Okay.
But I will agree. I think it was the only way that chairs stood a chance is to take that route, though.
What I did was
I think we should have
do
gently and quickly put this argument to rest by just saying it's dumb. Socks. There's more socks. Let's move on.
I didn't move the goalpost in the beginning. I installed the goalpost where it was supposed to go, and then you got mad.
Where it was supposed to go.
I put it at the back of the end zone, right in the middle where it's supposed to go. You wanted to put it at midfield because you were on that side of the field.
Actually, I don't think Boone ever agreed. I think you just started
I
taking
didn't
the
want
chairs part because he agreed to the pairs part, and then you were like, and then so I think we should do anything that's made to sit down and it counts as a chair. And Boone's face was like, and then you were like, no, let me finish this, and then you can say, and then you just started defending. You went into that and defending chairs. I don't think we got to agree. To that
I felt like I was like a little kid in a crowd, and you just like picked me up and started running with me. Like I was just like trying to go back. I was like, wait.
He's like, no, we don't do that
I was like, I don't want to go yet, Dad. And you're like, we're going. This is the way we're going. Chairs and seats, they're all the same. Everything you can sit on.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Too dang bad. Okay. So, that was our first episode of the YAWGPod. If you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the episode. We'll give you a shout-out. You can come on the podcast. We've done it before. We'll do it again.
Comment if you think socks are
Comment on our social media, mostly Instagram and Facebook, because I am in charge of the Twitter, and I don't update it that much.
Or YouTube.
Matthew,
YouTube
go
has a good
ahead and
comment
pause.
section.
Okay, let me go ahead and start, y'all. Right. That ain't working. Okay, tell him a 5-star review. Leave a 5-star review, and Matthew will give you every seat in his house.
No, okay. I don't have any.
He'll mail them out.
I don't have any seats. All I got are chairs.